On a very bad one. It's defiantly.
Commissioners and members of the public, thank you for your patience. I'm going to convene this meeting and conduct roll call. Commissioner Andrades,
Present.
Commissioner Field,
Here.
Commissioner Fuentes. Commissioners will be reminded to please turn on their mics for those joining us virtually. Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack.
Here.
Chair Mesa is present. Second, Vice Chair Murray is absent. Vice Chair Sanchez is on her way. Commissioner Schladiger is absent. Commissioner Stein is absent. Commissioner Thomas.
Present halfway.
Commissioner Yap.
Commissioner Yap here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. All right, I now move on to the first item on our agenda, which will be public comment. I am going to hand it over to our executive director to administer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're just grabbing we're going to do in person first, then switch to remote. Okay, thank you. All right, I've got only 2 names signed up for the time being, so I'm gonna just call you both up. Lionel and Rob, please come up. Let's see if I can get the timer. Lionel, how long would you like? 1 minute. Let's see, and go.
Good evening, Commissioner.
Turn on the mic.
Good evening, Commissioners. Lionel Morris, Budget Advocate speaking on my own behalf. I urge this commission to keep pushing forward. This is your only chance to reform the LA City Charter and to make our city better for our people, for all Angelenos. Now is the time to push, keep moving forward, not turn back. Let's make LA great for the people who are depending on all of you to make our government more responsive to the needs of our people, especially marginalized communities that are suffering every single day because of Trump's fascist policies harming our communities. We must stand up to tyranny. We must defend and protect our democracy from being under attack. And I also support the Rewrite LA and civic assemblies. I think it's a great idea. And I also believe that public comment should be accessible remotely as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And next is Rob, and after Rob is going to be Matthew. Rob, how long? Ooh. How long would you like?
3 minutes.
Okay, hold on. I think. Okay, go.
I'll just start by again noting that if anybody wants to break quorum, I completely encourage you to go ahead and do that. We did not get nearly enough time for any of these materials in front of us, and that's just unacceptable and disrespectful to everybody around here. I support item 3. That might be the only worthwhile thing that comes out of this whole cursed commission. I'm agnostic on item 1 now. On the one hand, I thought it was a mistake to leave this out of the bylaws at the start. And if our council members can accept time limits, then our unelected commissioners shouldn't view themselves as so special. On the other hand, this is really a failure of leadership. This shouldn't be necessary. Most commissions don't need to do this because they have enough respect for each other as a body that it's not necessary. This commission overall is really just looking like Nightmare on Spring Street. 2 committees have not met, even though they were created, like 2 months ago. I didn't really like Commissioner Yap's proposal to change the makeup, but there was a promise to change the makeup, and we still haven't seen that. The committees that have met, we've had nothing more than a revolving door of presentations, requests for more reports back, and temperature checks. we're not doing any deciding. And it seemed like a few weeks ago that got through to you with the press coverage, and I don't know what is going on here. The only deciding that seems to be happening is by the executive director that is just running amok with the budget and deciding everything that's happening here, apparently. Again, these staff reports, last week, we had a less than 2 days notice for people to write a 56-page report. This one, we had, what, 3 hours, 4 hours to read the schedule, the proposed schedule that dramatically changes things. The executive director's report came a half hour before the meeting. 3 weeks ago, we demanded budget transparency, and what did we get? We got 5 lines, not even itemized. In the last executive director's report, we had this a plug that, oh, and on the 22nd, we're going to have micro grants coming through. When was that actually ever publicized to anybody in the public? Just completely done in the dark. The schedule that's been released, we have no full commission meeting until early December. We punt on everything deliberation-wise. We're getting better government and government structure until January. This is insane. I don't know what is going on here, but we need this full commission weighing in and deciding things. There's
And thank you, time.
three-member committee can move forward on.
Thank you. Next is Matthew Hom. Matthew, how long would you like?
For general public comment and item number 1, 2 minutes.
2
2
minutes.
minutes, yes.
Okay, 1 second.
Good evening, honorable commissioners. My name is Matthew Hom. I organize with Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, CLUE, though I'm here today as a passionate resident. I am here to ask you to approach with very strong caution item number 1, and I think it's something that I would oppose. It feels like in this time in which our city is under siege from the devastating fires, but really from the fascism of the Trump administration, from the devastating and intolerable ICE raids and the victimization of our communities, we have to be able to represent all of our communities very authentically and legitimately. I think especially for a commission in which no one has been elected. So there is not electoral representation, but I think, as you know very well, there is representation of the diversity of our city on this commission. And that's why I think it's important for there to be the process where everyone can really raise points and make discussion in a way that really represents the most marginalized communities, especially Black communities and others in our city. And so I think this is a really unique opportunity you guys have to, that as far as I know, hasn't been done in a long time or ever, to give this input on behalf of the city, on behalf of the people, to the city council and to the mayor. And I suggest that instead of being consumed by this sort of interpersonal drama or this attempt to sort of police each other or regulate each other, that you take accountability as an entire body and really take the work into the depth and the seriousness it deserves, but not to sort of proceed this way, that it might in fact be contrary to the values that I know we all believe in. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We are now going to move on to a remote public comment.
20 seconds.
What now?
You might have shorted me 20 seconds.
I mean, I might have, so I don't know. I will give you the grace to have those 20 seconds.
I'll take it. And I'll just say, I don't know what you got to do, but Commissioner Lewis previously talked about basketball and changing things up. Easiest way to change that with the team, change the leadership. I don't know whether that's the staff or whether who the chair is, but you do need to talk about that openly. I don't have a position on that, but this is just something that you've got to get together. This idea that you're not talking to Mayor Bass is absurd. We got to be talking to her. The idea that you don't need to talk to Mayor Bass about the issues with this commission is absurd. You're supposed to be leading this thing.
Okie dokie. So we're going to switch over to virtual public comment, have them raise their hand, and we'll call your name and go from there. Our first person is Carolina. How long would you like, Carolina?
Hi,
you-
may I please have 3 minutes?
Okay, stand by. This thing takes a second. Okay, go.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Carolina Goodman, speaking as an individual. Regarding rules of debate and discussion, whether or not there is a formal bylaws limit to the amount of time commissioners can speak, we all agree that there is an enormous amount of work to be done, and commissioners are able to deliver impactful ideas in a succinct manner. In any event, it is unacceptable to waste hours discussing amendments to the bylaws. Regarding the revised schedule, I understand and support the need to schedule more meetings. However, I do have a concern that the commission would only begin providing direction on major topics only a couple of months before they're supposed to be finalizing reforms. Please prioritize a more aggressive full commission schedule that involves actual decision-making. And when exactly can we expect to see red line charter language? It seems that January would be the optimal time for this. As for the public assembly process, I look forward to seeing how Rewrite LA can increase community engagement in charter reform. Thank you.
Alrighty, next up is going to be Nicholas. Nick, can you hear us? Nick?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, how long would you like, Nick?
I'll take 3 minutes. Probably not going to use all of them, but I will speak on agenda item, all 3 agenda items.
Okay, go.
This commission is not like the commission from 1999. The commission from 1999 essentially had 2 years to do it and a full staff. This one was given 8 months and essentially just a fraction of the staff, a fraction of the ability that the previous one had. So we went into it knowing that any reforms we were likely to get were going to be dramatically more limited in scope. I was personally coming in here thinking we're probably going to get lucky to get 4 or 5 major reforms, major swings at significant areas of the charter. I've come to every single major commission meeting and most of the committee meetings, and I will be here in person at this one within the hour. But that being said, it is disheartening for the first couple months of the commission to have the majority of the time spent discussing bylaws or the nature of the commission meetings themselves. And I would just like to remind all of you that no one will remember the names of virtually anybody who is here in even 1 year's time. It is not worth anybody's time, certainly not the commissioners, to worry about the minutia of how meetings are conducted. And in reality, the effect of this commission is going to be long and felt by the people of Los Angeles and is drastically needed by them. So what I would advise is, yes, we should absolutely have more commission meetings, and we should be aiming to get red line language no later than December. Realistically. And if that takes meetings that go 4 hours, 5 hours, collapsing all of the committee meetings into overall commission meetings, then that might be what's needed to do so. I will say here, saying one of the things that I think, this is a government structure meeting, so of course I will always advocate for expanded city council and anti-corruption measures. I will mention that now. I think the city council should be 29 and anti-corruption measures such as banning clean record deals should be in there. But I'm basically scrapping the script or I had for this commission meeting, for this public comment. What I would urge is that we need to have significantly more meetings. We need to stop talking about the amendments to the bylaws and who gets to speak when and just get into the bones of everything. No matter how we feel about each other, no matter how we feel about this whole process, every commission meeting needs to be 95% the issue of the charter. And it is disheartening. And I'm saying this just because this is what's needed. I wish I had a more elegant or succinct way to say this, but I echo Rob's statements and I say that if it means that in order to get this done, we have to meet 3 times as much.
3 minutes?
Yeah. Anyway, there's that. That's all I had to say.
All right, and that concludes our public comment virtual. Anyone else? Last chance in person. And go for it, please, Ross. How long would you like?
3 minutes, please.
3 minutes.
Thank you, Ross Weishaufer, volunteer from Fair Up LA, and I'll just echo what others have said that at the last meeting in this room, I asked for more deliberative capacity and analytic capacity on behalf of so many communities. And today I'm speaking purely for myself and saying that I'm disappointed at the work of this commission so far on better government, and I expect to see it prioritized. And finally, on the topic of civic assemblies, I'm concerned that and acknowledging that the language in the resolution has to be or must be ambiguous. It's still, I hope that this commission's hope that we can see the legitimacy of the city lent to their efforts wherever possible. If that's not in the resolution, then in deeds. And then finally, I think at the last commission meeting in Pacoima, I was assured by Commissioner Murray that this commission was listening to the community. And I'll simply ask of all of you and the commission itself a reminder that actions speak louder than words. And frankly, the commission's actions so far speak so loudly, I can no longer hear your words.
And that concludes public comment. Mr. Chair.
Great. All right. Thank you, everyone. Our next item on the agenda is Neighborhood Council Community Impact Statements. Are there any neighborhood councils with approved community impact statements? Seeing none, we will go on to the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Is there any discussion?
So moved.
Seconded.
Is there any objection to approving the minutes from our last meeting? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. I'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the Executive Director Report on Outreach and Other Matters.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. Hello, commissioners. This is version 2.0 of Executive Director's Report. Happy to keep on expanding on it. Brief opener just talks about really what we'll be discussing on the agenda here later today about on item 2. I always get them mixed up. On item 2 about just an expanded committee schedule. So we'll be talking about that at item 2, but I think it really, as we've gotten into these committees, we've seen the work that not only is possible, but needs to get done with committees, and the commissioners are, and the committees are enjoying the process. So look forward to that discussion on item 2. Oh, my time's up. I'm kidding. And then just some highlights, again, new conferencing camera that we're using at all meetings, including here in room 2 in 1010 and at our remote meetings out in the districts. Seems to be better quality video and audio. So hopefully that's some improvement for folks who are tuning in virtually. And of course, we had virtual public comment today here at City Hall meetings, and I think we'll be able to implement that very, very, very soon at committee meetings as well. Especially when they're here at City Hall. Again, when they're outside of City Hall, it gets much harder, especially because it's uneven and we get to a point where I promise something and might not be able to deliver the day of. And that's like one of my least favorite things to do. More updates on outreach, again, committee meetings and more coming soon. I'm going to talk a little bit, hold on, I have 2 versions of this. Where's my other version? Here we are. You know, we've got some events coming up, which I'm going to talk about here a little more, and just want to gauge some interest from commissioners on their participation in some other events. I'll talk about that in a second. Mini grants. Or social media. We're working on boosting social media and doing like paid boosts on a couple of platforms. So look forward to seeing that soon. That will also help our online survey. Our goal for the online survey is to get to about 5,000 respondents by the end of the year. So stay tuned on that. That is our goal. Please keep on boosting it within your groups. And we have a QR code here today and at all of our meetings, and it's linked on our website for people to participate in the online survey. It's a great outreach tool, but it's also a great opportunity to just gauge where people are in certain matters. Mini grants, we have about 22 out, we have exactly 22 applications received. It's a good cross section. I don't have the list with me. We're still working on some of the details with city attorney's office. But the intent behind, as we've talked about with the grant, mini grants is really to engage a lot of different communities, a lot of different organizations out there to help partner with outreach. That could include, some of the proposals include helping us with our social media. They'll be doing paid boosts and be paid for that. Being part of some of our town halls and having, programming some of our town halls or hosting some of our town halls. So we've got a good list of proposals from groups, which I'll be reporting. I'll probably report out publicly before our next commission meeting. So I'll just send that report to the commission, of course, post it on the website as well. So stay tuned on that. Budget update. I kind of laid out a quick few bullet points about the process that the budget originally so far the council has allocated $1 million. We had to go through a process to get that money then transferred over to the clerk's office. That was a lengthy process that is quite frankly also not finished. Although the money has been officially transferred, there still have to be some transfers. Paybacks, for example, some staff were hired by a council district to expedite our hiring of those staff members. And then we got to transfer them over and then repay back the council districts. So that's, a little thing. I presented, the budget is still the same one that I presented back in July. It's posted on the website. This is just a snapshot that the city clerk's office actually provided today of just this is what they provide when they do budgets. So I just wanted to provide you with what they've given me so far. They said they'd be giving me updates on what monthly statement of conditions, to quote them, about every month. And little notes on there. So the last part I want to just talk about informally, in public meeting, of course, is we do have a couple events coming up that I just want to kind of gauge people's interest in participating. We already had some commissioners participate in a virtual town hall, which is great. So for those commissioners, they'll be second row or third row for these future meetings. So for example, we do have our December 8th. So we have our December 8th town hall that City Fabric will be planning. It's a non-commission meeting. So it's not, a Brown Act kind of, public comment. Let's talk about the issues. It's going to be fully programmed by City Fabric, interactive, engaging with community members, more information to come, but that's December 8th. We also have with the neighborhood council executives, a virtual event on November 20th that City Fabric is doing on outreach, just talk about outreach and working with the neighborhood councils. It's virtual on November 20th. So keep that in mind. And then the option also for see if people are interested in an additional virtual town hall. So those are three options, at least right now coming up. And I just want to, see who is generally interested, temperature check, call it what you want in those three things. So who would be interested or who has availability in a December 8th town hall?
Wait,
Point of
the
clar-
6th.
Did I write it down wrong? 6. Thank you. Yes, 6.
Isn't that one?
Anyone? Volunteers? We obviously have many commissioners who are not here today that I'll be going out to as well and checking with them. But you don't have to give me answers all, of course, right now. You can circle back later. But December 6th, town hall, virtual event with neighborhood councils executives on November 20th. And then just in general, no date set, but is anyone interested in doing an additional virtual town hall if we were to have one? I know it went well for those who participated. So if you are interested, please let me know.
Are there 2 events on November 20th? Because it said that there's also a better government meeting.
Yeah, this is gonna be later, much later. Yeah.
Wait, what was that date? November.
November 20th. Yeah, I think we have a committee meeting at like 2 o'clock that day. And I believe this is at 6 p.m. Yeah.
Is
Is the neighborhood council one also a town hall, or is that something separate?
It's separate. It's just a meeting with the executives it's kind of an interactive event with the secretary, executives that City Fabric is planning to talk about outreach. And we just like some commissioners to participate as well.
I'd like to participate. In that.
Okay. Yeah. And virtual town hall. Anyone just informally or formally raise your hands if you're interested in.
I thought it was going to be, we already had.
Yeah, we already.
6. So then I thought it was going to be the other 6.
No, we had 4.
Well, whatever.
We had 4. So I just want to see who's, and just want to see if you're still interested, because we are also throwing a lot more meetings at commissioners, a lot more committee meetings, a lot more commitments. And I just want to be cognizant of your schedules and your times. And and make sure you're still all interested in the, especially after we presented this, beefed up schedule that we'll be talking about later.
Well, I'm just, there are several people who aren't here. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll be circling back with
I'm
everyone.
not sure who was at the last one.
Yeah.
But I think it should, the people who were not at the last one should be given the first right of refusal. for
Yep.
this one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with Commissioner Thomas.
Commissioner Field.
Just a question.
Sure.
I'm having trouble understanding this. Did you say the town halls do not have to follow the Brown Act?
So when I say the town halls do not follow the Brown Act, I didn't say that. I think I said they aren't Brown Act meetings. They
Right.
are interactive with
Right.
stations. There's not going to be a formal schedule, so we do want to keep it below a Brown Act number of commissioners attending, just to make to be completely above the board, just like we did with the virtual town hall. We kept it below and I imagine with everyone's schedule, it's gonna be hard to,
I just want to be clear because I understood the whole reason that only 4 can attend
Yeah.
is because of the Brown Act. And then I heard you say it's not under the Brown Act, but okay.
Sorry, if I accidentally, I meant to say it's not to be a Brown Act meeting.
Well, then I'm just curious. So then why can't commissioners tune in and listen?
So
Let's ask the city attorney to go
Well,
through this one more time.
It's an in-person only event. So it's an in-person town hall event.
Oh, it's in
It's
person.
in person.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I thought these were virtual.
Yeah, this one, the December 6th one is going to be, imagine, let's say, walking into a gymnasium and seeing stations where there's
Yeah, yeah.
charrettes, there's
I thought it was virtual.
log into these iPads and take this quiz, yeah.
So both of these are actually in person.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. That helps. Thank you.
Well, sorry, when I say December 6th in person, November 20th virtual.
Okay, I guess I'm looking at February 14th too. but-
Sorry,
We're not
lots coming at you, but I'm just talking about these 3 things right now.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Andrades.
Thank you for sharing the budget. In the future, can you please provide planned expend, can you shorten
Sure,
it,
that
provide planned
that's in our
expenditures?
the July. I didn't reprint the July budget that we went over back then. But it's still the same.
Okay.
It's still the same plan.
Great. And then can you also itemize it to the best extent possible in the future, at the next time we see this?
Sure. You mean the original budget?
Whatever money we've spent, I would like to know what we spent it on.
I will do my best to get that.
As, practicable as possible.
Yeah, I will see what further details. So this is when I went to the clerk's office who handles our budget now at this point. This is what they were able to provide me at least.
Oh,
so
yeah,
far.
this is
So I can
fine.
ask for
Yeah, okay.
a more
Thank you.
detail. Yeah.
Commissioner Field.
Okay, yeah, more questions on, I'm looking at the document, which hopefully is available to everybody in the room. I just got it when I walked in.
Yeah, copies are at the back desk and we posted it online as well.
Great. On the mini grants, again, one of our speakers, and perhaps more than one, referenced the fact that they didn't even know about them other than sort of some verbal announcements. And I don't want you to take time now to explain how it was presented or promoted, publicized. I'd like to know who are the 22 that applied. And
Sure.
also, how many are there going to be? Are they all going to get it or only a few or?
TBD. Like I just wanted to provide with, we'll probably at least let you know who's going to get, we'll definitely let you know who's getting the grants. If somebody applied and wasn't, doesn't get the grant, I don't, that's an awkward thing to share. And they might not want that shared as well. But stay tuned on that. And then we're still working with city attorney's office just to cross our T's and dot our I's on some of the applicants in the process. Further, City Fabric, who's done this before with DOT and doing mini grants, ran the application process. They had an extensive list that they reach out to. I also asked, all the commissioners, and several of you did get back to us with organizations that you knew of that would be great to reach out to. And I believe we reached out to all of those as well. And I want to say the list might have been somewhere around 100 organizations that were contacted in the process, with particular emphasis on, getting to communities that we haven't had a chance to get to yet. And out of those, about 22 have, exactly 22 have applied. One wanted to say about when it's exact.
Okay, well, that's helpful. I'm sure. I have great confidence that
The application process closed on Friday, so that's why I don't have terribly too much more information as we're just going through our quick process. But that City Fabric has done this before with DOT with a lot of success.
Okay, well, I am sure they will find diversity among those receiving
that was their charge.
Yes. And on the budget, if I may, Chairman Mesa, I don't find this particularly informative. And I know it's given by the city clerk.
Oh, the budget. Yeah. Feel free to let me know what you all would like to see. This is the first time I'm presenting, this update to you all. And first time I'm really getting it from the city clerk. So I just wanted to provide you with what I got.
Yes.
And I thought at least, something would be helpful. Again, working with the city clerk, they're still getting used to having our budget, and there still need to be transfers. Again, paybacks for staffing, et cetera, that need to take place. So hopefully next time in a month when I get the next update, one, I can get more details that you may all want, and two, hopefully some of those transfers have occurred.
Okay.
It's hard to get the full picture until those transfers really do occur.
That seems to be
the wheels of City Hall.
Yes, something, well, I don't know if it's charter, but it definitely needs reform. I guess, but are we to assume that the starting balance was an even 1 million? Because we don't see any starting balance here of this commission's budget.
I mean, the grand total down there was 943.20.
So that was our starting.
That I think that's what our final balance is right now after some payments. The transfers related. So you see number 2, there was a transfer relating to salaries for executive director. That was done in pay period, but not reflected on schedule above nor in FMS. So that still needs to happen. I don't know exact. So some of the payments listed to the right are subtracted from that as well. So still trying to find out where because some money obviously was spent out before the transfer. So they might not have had all that information.
Okay. And I just want to make sure I heard you. Some of our staff is being currently paid out of council districts.
So to expedite hiring of our policy deputies, because we were hiring them just as the council item was going through. One of the council districts, we worked with them because when you to go through the regular civil service process, I would still be waiting. We'd all still be waiting, but council districts can work much faster. And since it's a limited term position, the council district was happy to help us as long as we reimburse them. And we said, yes, that makes sense.
Okay, so you're saying at some point money will come clear in terms of these transfers of what we've actually spent, including salaries.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I will look forward to that because I cannot believe we've spent less than 5,000.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, with regards to the mini grants, So they haven't been decided in terms of organizations that will get them.
Not yet. So it's just the 22 that have applied. That's the update.
So the 22 have applied. And so where did the 22 come from?
City Fabric, who's done work in the city before, had a list. We got some organizations from commissioners here. I reached out to all of you. I know I reached out to yourself, included at the end another time, and asked everyone. We got some responses. And so again, about 100 organizations were outreached to directly. It wasn't just like a batch email to all of them. It was like individual emails to each saying, "Dear Acme organization," and going from there. So yeah.
And so my other question is, how many of those organizations that have applied are Black led?
Sure.
How many of those represent groups that are currently being targeted? Like, is there a trans organization that has received funding? Is there a immigrant group organization that has received funding? But more importantly, it's important that we understand how these decisions are being made. I vaguely recall you mentioning to me about suggesting organizations. I don't think I suggested any. And I think that's one of the things that I have the most difficulty with.
Okay.
Is that when I talk about Black-led organizations, it is then becomes my responsibility to make sure that they are engaged and that they reach out to you or however this commission, however that happens. Other commissioners, I don't think are doing it that way. And so what my concern is, it's kind of like, it's similar to what you experience when people say, well, no Black people applied. Well, if there are no Black people who have applied, it's not because they were not interested. It's because the job hasn't been done to recruit.
No, I hear you. Absolutely.
And so that's what I'm interested in. I want to see the organizations that, number one, I want to see how this decision is going to be made in terms of who gets the mini grants. And then I would also like to know how many of these organizations represent the very groups that were attacked by those 3 city council members and that labor union exec. They specifically spoke about particular marginalized groups. And I think we need to hear from those people, and they need to be actively involved in this work.
I hear. Yeah. So I'll report back. When we're reporting on who gets them, I'll also give like a good, overview of who applied as well. The specific. I don't have the list in front of me. It is a diverse group. There are African American organizations. There are Latino facing organizations. There are AAPI facing organizations. But I will come back with you with. When we do a full report out on it too. And I'm also absolutely not saying that we're done with doing mini grants. We can open it up again at some point if there is a good opportunity, and if we can find some good additional groups. This is not a closed door by any means.
Commissioner Andrades.
I share the sentiments with Commissioner Thomas to the extent that I think with these kinds of things, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be important to put them in our Instagram and newsletter and not necessarily prune out who applicants are on the front end. And instead we can, ask this we can do targeted outreach, but we can also do a general outreach. I also think probably sending a press release of any grants that we give to news agencies and they have the ability to report or not report on it could be beneficial. And I say this knowing that I have, a call for research that's being sent out from my committee. So the more outreach we do, the better. And then it's up to these groups to decide whether or not they do it. But I would at least like that kind of thing to be in the ether. And then if someone doesn't apply in part, it's not our fault for not
Yeah.
inviting them.
We also know that these groups, it's a particular busy time of year for a lot of organizations. It's a particularly stressful time of year for a lot of organizations. We've also heard back that, groups don't have capacity on different things, but 22 applications is a great start.
Yeah, I think the 22 is a great start. I just think that a wider, net of potential views is always helpful.
It could always be wider.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Thomas.
It would be helpful if there was a list of the groups. Is there a list of the groups that have applied?
I don't want to put it's like putting out a list of people who've applied who might not get something. So I don't want to. I don't want to.
It's a public.
I will be providing it here soon, but I just want to make sure. For example, somebody might not get funding because there's a conflict of interest with somebody who's on the commission, perhaps, or they applied and they are also a registered lobbyist, for example.
Commissioner Thomas, if I may, I've heard loud and clear from commissioners that we will provide a list of everyone who has applied, and that will be furnished. I will actually ensure that it is furnished and publicly posted well before our next meeting, so that in case there are any flags, commissioners can reach out to the executive director. So I just want to make sure to let you know we will do that.
Thank you so much. And on the issue of conflict of interest, so you see how problematic it is that if I'm recommending groups, these are groups that I'm familiar with.
Absolutely. Well, it depends if you're recommending groups, for example, that you're serving on a board as a volunteer board, there's rules and then there are perceptions. We just want to make sure. And again, the organization might also be a lobbyist. We're just doing all our due diligence before we take it to the next step.
And so in terms of lobbyists, these are paid lobbyists, not.
I don't know yet.
Yeah, not
without having gone through. I'm just giving examples.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just asking. When you refer to lobbyists, you're talking about those who are paid. You're not talking.
Yeah, I don't think there's
groups. You're not talking about community groups.
Yeah.
You are.
No, so sorry. So haven't vetted the entire 22, so I don't know if they're all just community groups or someone's own organization that has a lobbyist or does lobbying. That's why I'm.
Okay, well, I'm just asking a general question, not for specific. I'm just.
I'm just trying to give a snapshot and more information to come.
Because sometimes community-based organizations, community groups can look like lobbyists.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And vice versa. And lobbyists sound so nice and definitely sound like community groups. And then you find out they're lobbying.
Okay.
Commissioner Field.
And just briefly, because I echo my colleagues, and I want to assure our ED that anybody who applied does not expect it to be kept a secret. They understand they won't all get it. And I do not think that there will be terrible reverberations if the commission and the public in general knows who got it together, who heard about it, and then did go ahead and apply. I think it's fine, even if they don't all get it. That's just life.
And we could always PRA it too as individuals, so it's public already. I want to note for the minutes that Commissioner Sanchez has joined us. Are there any other questions for the executive director? Commissioner Mack.
I think just circling back to town halls, if you can just follow up with December 6 details, that would be helpful in terms of.
With which one?
December 6th.
The December 6th.
Location and time.
Yeah, so generally, more details to absolutely come, but just wanted to gauge general interest and availability on that date. Yes. Yeah, I will not keep it a secret. I promise you.
Sounds good.
Commissioners, I just want to, before we close, recap some of the items that I heard as follow-up items. So there's a request for a more itemized budget, and the executive director will see the level of detail that we can get from the city clerk. There will be a report back on the organizations that applied for a mini grant. There will be a report back on organizations that receive funding from the mini grant. There was a there was a note that if, in case there are any gaps in diversity, that we can reopen the process later on. So those are the items that I have.
Can I add one?
Please, Commissioner Fuentes.
Thank you. Okay, so just, I don't know if this came up while I stepped out, but in terms of virtual public comment, it says coming to meetings soon. Can you give, can you give a time frame? Like, is that a month? Is that by the end of the month?
Definitely in November.
Okay. So in November, we can expect virtual public comment.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Executive Director. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is item 1, discussion of and possible amendments to the commission's bylaws. Commissioner Field.
Sorry. First, again, I'm going to ask for a correction in the spelling of my name. Second, no S. And then I do want to speak to the motion. However, I am going to move for tabling this indefinitely. We again have not a full commission here this evening for many reasons. So if there's a second for that, then I would speak to the reasoning.
Second.
Oh, well, thank you. I do want to say we had a public speaker and we've had several saying, stop spending time on bylaws, and I think we're hearing you. But I also hear public speakers and commissioners wanting to be sure that we use our time productively. And we do. We really are doing better, I hope. I do want to say that this motion is probably more convoluted than necessary because the main goal is that all of us, every single one of us, self-monitor and keep track of time, which mostly we do. Most of us, most of the time, are quite good about not using more than our share of the time. And that's really all it's about. And it is, as we know, the prerogative of our chair. If someone loses track of time, any one of us, to say, please wrap it up, we need to move on. And hopefully that will go smoothly because I think we all want to be respectful of each other, of our work, our tremendous workload and our short timeline. And so that's what, the whole concept is to be respectful of each other. And I think we can achieve it. I think our commission has all the capacity to just make sure that we are thinking of everyone when we speak. So having said that, I'm going to stop. And we're not going to, we have a motion on the floor now to table it indefinitely. And I don't know if anyone else wants to discuss the motion. I'm not sure a motion to table, I'm not sure how much discussion.
There's discussion.
Okay.
Commissioner Thomas.
I want to say that it is incredible to me that we can be disrespectful and then say we want respect. Number one, if we're going to be honest, and I think we need to be, this was targeted towards me. Period. The end. Number two, I have said over and over that the people who need to be talking to us, who need to be considered, are not being considered. They are not speaking. They are not coming to talk to us. And what is disrespectful to me is the fact that we would have a city commission, a charter reform brought about by anti-Blackness, racism, transphobia, homophobia, and a whole lot of other things. And we would not consider that our work with this charter, that we have people who are literally under attack and we don't have time. I keep hearing about our work. What exactly is our work? Because I'd like to know. If our work is listening to the community, that ain't work to me. That's what we ought to be doing. So I keep hearing about this incredible workload. Now, I know we all come from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, making recommendations based upon what the people are saying, that ain't work to me. That's not work to me, because that's what I do every day. We have had very intelligent people present to us. We have even asked them to propose recommendations for us. And I just have to say this. The genie is out of the bottle. I do not see this work in this particular body as a body that cares about Black people. I don't. And I'm not saying that that is something that someone has done intentionally. I've been sounding the alarm, and it's been ignored. And I've been treated as if I was, and this is a quote, filibustering. Now, I'm a political science professor. I don't really understand that term. How do you filibuster something and you're not an elected official? No, I'm telling you what the people want, how the people feel, and you believe that it is off topic because you don't know what the people want. You're disconnected from the people. And so you can pull it, you can vote on it, you can do whatever you want to do with it. I will sit in no position where I cannot advocate for the least of these. That is my call, that is my duty, and I don't care who don't like it. And if you can hear from the sound of my voice that I am very irritated with the fact that I would just rather it just be said, well, James, you talk too much, and would you just stop talking? I would appreciate that more than and I won't say someone, because I don't think it's an individual thing. Mona, I don't, Commissioner Field. I don't think it's an individual thing. I think it is simply another example of white liberalism, not understanding how Black people feel. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with me in terms of minutes and amount of time. And y'all can say that I'm filibustering, I'm speaking too long or whatever. It's probably gonna be another 20 minutes. Justin, it's probably gonna be another 20 minutes. When I start seeing the people who represent this community coming in here speaking to us about issues that are important to this community, I won't say a word. And I've said that from the very beginning. It's not lost on me that there are Black groups that are going to be presenting to us. Why are they last? Why are the last groups to present? So again, I'm not accusing any individual about anything. But what I am saying, and I've said this over and over, what is the vision? What is the purpose of the work that we are doing? If we are in direct response to the racist and anti-Black comments and the bigotry that we heard espoused by those 4 people, why is that not a part of our work? How do we stop that? And that's all I've been saying. And I'm going to continue to say it. And if anybody wants that to change, if you don't want me to say anything, then get the people in here who speaks for the people. Get the community groups in here that are out here organizing in the street, that are feeling the brunt of the pushback. We had one today, Matthew. We had one today. With that, I'm done. But it's important that you know that the damage has already been done. It's already been done. My takeaway from this is that to silence me, because that's how I see it, and nobody can tell me how to perceive it. And there are many conversations that have taken place which justify what I'm saying. A different strategy for me in terms of getting the voices of the most vulnerable herd. If I know who these organizations are, how do you work for the city and you don't? We haven't talked about the unhoused. I think it was Pete White's organization, LA Can, that gave Mayor Bass a recommendation for what to do with the unhoused. We're talking about the expansion of city council and that's fine. And disciplining city council members. That's fine. But what does that mean for the most vulnerable? If we pass these recommendations, are any more people going to be housed? Are the police going to continue to use rubber bullets against protesters and treat them like criminals? We haven't heard from those people. The question is why? Why? This is off topic? If this is off topic, then I must have some kind of misunderstanding with regards to what we're supposed to be doing. We need to be doing what is necessary to protect the people of the city of Los Angeles, not just from corrupt political leaders, because guess what? They've always been corrupt. We should be talking about what is our expectation, the city council and the mayor? What will they do to protect us from the federal government? Constitution is clear what you can do. Second Amendment is clear what you can do. Very, very clear. When there is a takeover, when the federal government attempts to take over the state. And so I just want you to know I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not. I just believe in telling the truth. And I don't think that it is right and that it is fair for us to sit around this table and show little to no concern for the people who have been most targeted, both within this city and in this country. And that's the basis of my comments. That's the reason it's the 20-minute speech. And yes, I can limit it to 3 minutes, but I don't think you want me to. Thank you.
Are there any other commissioners wishing to speak on the agenda? On the item before us? All right, seeing no further discussion, I will call a vote. The motion is to table indefinitely item number 1, motion by Commissioner Field, second by Commissioner Mesa. I will conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Andrades.
Yes.
Commissioner Field. Commissioner Fuentes.
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack.
No.
Chair Mesa is yes. Sorry, everyone, I'm just doing a roll. Commissioner Murray is absent. Commissioner Sanchez.
Yes.
Commissioner Schlatter is absent. Commissioner Stein is absent. Commissioner Thomas.
No.
Commissioner Yap.
Clarification here. This is to table indefinitely this motion?
That's correct.
Vote yes.
1 second, everyone. Motion fails. All right, correct. Commissioners will be reminded that for items on this, for items before the commission, we need a majority of the commission, which is we have 13 commissioners, even though we have 1 vacancy. So items would need to be passed with 7. To Commissioner Yap's point, this was to table indefinitely to get rid of the item. However, we are now back at the item since Okay, I will make a motion to vote, I'll make a motion to vote no, to vote no. The motion that I would like to make is to vote no on item number 1. Is there a second?
Second, if that's allowed.
Okay, there is a motion and a second to vote no on item number 1. Are there any commissioners wishing to speak on this motion? Commissioner Fuentes.
Yes, just to echo what Commissioner Field shared, as well as the public, that this is a waste of time on this motion. I would encourage my other commissioners to also vote no on this as well. And I appreciate Commissioner Thomas also sharing his point of view on this motion.
Can you clarify to vote yes on voting no?
Okay, yes, yes. So,
Vote yes on the new motion, which is no.
okay. I will reiterate the motion before calling for a vote. Are there any other commissioners wishing to speak on this motion? Commissioner Mack.
Yeah, I really appreciated Commissioner Thomas' comments on this. I think from me, and maybe to give a little bit more context of why I voted no in the first round, I think from a facilitation standpoint, I do appreciate this being brought to the table in terms of this facilitating discussion. But I do agree with Commissioner Thomas that I feel like we were asked as commissioners to be on this on this board to kind of share and even just speak on our experience and what we can bring to the commission. And for that reason, I voted no, but I think there was value to just address this item because it was on our meetings for the last 2 meetings. And so I think tabling it from the get-go wasn't kind of, in my eyes, intentional in kind of how we want to move forward with this commission. But I appreciate everyone's comments.
Commissioner Field.
Yes, and I'm personally not invested in the motion. I'm invested in the result. And I will say, Chairman Mesa, whether there's a motion or not, I strongly request that you use the power of the chair and make sure that all of us are mindful of each other and everyone else's time. That's all.
Commissioner Thomas.
As Commissioner Mack has said, number one, the city and most organizations use Robert's Rules of Order. My question is, do you know who he was? He was a racist. And Robert's Rules of Order are used to squash dissent, not to bring order, to squash dissent. And the only time that Robert's rules are used is when there's dissent, when somebody is doing something that folks don't like. And so they go to the rule book, they go to the bylaws, and they weaponize them against people who are just as interested in moving the city forward or the organization forward as they are. And so what makes more sense is there would be community rules that we would decide how it is we want to relate to each other, how it is we want to talk to each other. And that wouldn't be a bad idea to do a similar thing for city council. To me, it is appalling that a racist person who came up with a strategy to squash dissent is leading all of our meetings. All of them. And all that it does it brings division. Any one of you could have called me personally before you came up with this motion. Because it is about me. And everybody who has attended these meetings know that it is. So we just need to stop saying that's not. It's okay. You wouldn't be the first to try to silence me. And if you'd asked somebody, you'd have found out you can't. But you could have contacted me. You could have called me and said, James, Commissioner Thomas, I value what you say. I want to bring Black people and marginalized people here to present to us. But the preacher stuff, come on, man. I would not have been offended by that. That would not have bothered me. But then to not do that is very problematic. And so I don't want to beat a dead horse. But what I'm arguing for, we need to be better than city council. Not mimic them. We are not elected officials. We shouldn't be fighting each other and bickering over rules. And so I've spent enough time on this. I am going to vote. How am I supposed to vote?
I will reiterate the vote after when you're done. I think there.
Huh?
No. Are you?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Well, I thought he said there was a vote.
There is, and I'll reiterate the motion, but Commissioner Andrades.
Will the chair entertain a friendly amendment? I believe the correct phrasing is a motion to strike, not to vote no. I don't think we can legally motion to vote no, but I would like the attorney to. Yeah, is the correct language as per, Robert's Rules of Order, is it to strike this instead of to vote
I
no?
was going to withdraw the motion. I thought that would be simpler than going through all this.
I believe the motion was to vote against the proposed change.
So that's just to call the
motion
question.
Was to vote against the change. So a yes vote would be to reject the proposed amendments.
Okay. What?
Having trouble with the yes and no.
So if I'll just make this, if you want the amendments to be rejected, you don't want to change to the bylaws, you vote yes to the motion that was just introduced.
That's
Are there any other commissioners wishing to? Commissioner Field.
I want to say to my colleague, I was assured that there had been outreach to you, and perhaps it was my fault that I did not do it myself. But before I brought this, I was told that you spoke to several people and that, if I may say, you reiterated the need you feel to speak sometimes at great length. And maybe the conversation wasn't well presented to you, and not acknowledging the importance of what you have and continue to say around the issue of representation. I would just say to you, let's work together.
Commissioner Thomas.
I just want to say, the person who talked to me, there was a person who talked to me. There was a person who talked to me. Two people talked to me. You talked to me, which appalled me, but I like you, so it's okay. You did. You were the one that talked about the 20 minutes and the filibustering. I used to investigate police officers, so I know how to get information. I know how to remember it too. The other person was another commissioner. But the issue is that Justin did not propose the motion. The other commissioner did not agree with the motion and feels exactly the way I felt about it. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying, in the same way that you sent me that email. And I responded to you. I just wanted to be clear. We all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. But I'm not crazy. And I know exactly that that was singling me out. That's what it was doing. And so I'm done with the conversation. I love all of y'all. I'm called to do that. But I'm going to tell you the truth. So thank you. I appreciate what you've said. Now can we vote?
Are there any other commissioners wishing to speak on the motion before us, which I will reiterate before a vote? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is to vote no on item number 1, which would mean that there are no changes to the bylaws. So if you do not want to change the bylaws, you would vote yes.
Thank you.
Correct. All right. I will remind the commissioners that in order for the motion to pass, we do need 7 votes in the affirmative.
Let's just.
No, it's 13. Yes. But so we have 12. Yeah.
I had to correct the city attorney. That never happened. So I just needed to take that point of personal privilege, everyone. I apologize. Okay.
Say it one last time.
Yes. So an affirmative vote will mean that there are no changes to the bylaws, that
Okay.
this motion does not pass.
Okay.
So I'm going to conduct a roll call vote. Commissioner Andrades.
Yes.
Commissioner Field.
Yes.
Commissioner Fuentes.
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack.
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa, yes. Commissioner Murray is absent. Commissioner Sanchez.
Yes.
Commissioner Schlatter is absent. Commissioner Stein is absent. Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Yap.
Yes.
The motion passes. There are no amendments to the bylaws.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. We now move on to item number 2, which is comment and discussion of a staff report outlining updates to the commission's schedule and process for developing charter reform recommendations. I'm going to hand it to the executive director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm having terrible flashbacks to Prop 8 phone banking that I did many, many years ago for hours of ad nauseum explaining, no, you need to vote no to save. It was very confusing. Anyways, thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as I kind of teed up in the executive director's report, the outreach engagement plan that had a list of meetings was only the floor, and that we were planning to exceed that floor and do more meetings, but we needed a starting framework, and that's what it provided for, and for us to iterate from there, to learn from this process and continue to iterate, and we will continue to iterate through this process. This is not a process that is by any means locked in stone. We do have an end date. We have to get our recommendations to council with by the first week of April. Eyes wide open to that goal. And with that goal in mind, we wanted to bring this item to the commission to have a discussion, to get feedback, and basically to also get buy-in, so everyone understands and there are less questions moving forward, like about how the process could and should work in the coming months to get us to our final goal. I'm looking forward to, before I delve deep into this, looking forward to hearing your input, making adjustments. We've definitely internally have iterated this before it's come to you. That's why it came to you as late as it did, because we were continuing to iterate. We worked with our chair to iterate in the end and to make improvements. So now we bring this to you to just really lay out a map, fully cognizant that, a couple things. One, that it's dates will shift still based on availability of both. We start with chairs to see if their availability have the availability for dates, and then once a chair says yes, I can do those dates or a specific date, we work from there and like, okay, we have a chair who's available. check to make sure we can get quorum, make sure we have presenters, make sure the timeline fits for getting presenters and or a staff report. We have to bake in a schedule for having staff reports not only produced internally, but then edited by and by our various teams, including the city attorney's office, and working with folks on making sure that all of our T's are crossed and I's are dotted. That so it's going through a very extensive process, and we've done one big full staff report that was quite lengthy, that on infrastructure and planning, and that was a great first time of us doing it and learning from that process. And the commissioners on that committee learned from the process and given us great feedback. And we've heard from community members who've given us feedback as well, and stakeholders who also saw it and were like, oh, hey, make this adjustment. We said we actually were in favor of this, not in favor of that. So, that's all a part of the process and great and how it's supposed to work. So I also want to make sure that Max is within a distance of a microphone to help weigh in on this. He is my partner on this process. So we have first laid out the staff report process and how that's going to look. We definitely hear that we want to, we kind of look at that first week of April and work backwards. People can say it'd be great to have charter language today. It's like, well, this is still months from the first week of April. It'd be premature, honestly, to have charter language today, because to get to charter language, we have to go through still a lot of outreach. We still have to go through a lot of research. We still have to even just, address the topics and see what topics these commissioners, you all, at the committee level, then the commission level, are interested in moving forward, because there's going to be a narrowing. We won't be able to, this isn't a full charter rewrite. That was never our charge. This is a targeted process of reform. And that's the charge that all of you and myself included have signed up for. And that is the process that we're laid out. So having said all of that, second staff report, third staff report, fourth staff report, kind of walks you through each of the process and how those will not only iterate, narrow, and then get to the point where, yes, there will be charter language. Even getting to that point, we'll take a lot of input from the commission. We'll take a lot of work with various departments throughout the city who have subject matter expertise. We're being very careful also, because thank you, County of Los Angeles, for providing us the example of unintended consequences when rewriting the charter. We want to avoid that at all costs. So that is our plan. This is also based a lot on advice we got from the 1999 charter commissions, who kind of laid out a plan and, gave us advice and said, don't start off with charter rewrite language. We're, kind of laid out much of what you see here from the original outreach engagement plan to what this is. So it's a very aggressive schedule. It's many more meetings. Dates are not set in stone, but you see, we've kind of laid them out in two formats. I think that is helpful to everyone. And we can do another format where it's a calendar at some point as well. But this is basically breaking it down by the committees first, where you'll see the committee meeting. So on each subject matter, where the committee meetings are and where they'll deliberate, and then when the commission will deliberate. With those dates maybe shifting by a day or two based on calendars and schedules, but that's the order. So for example, planning and infrastructure, October 22nd, there was a committee meeting where they had a staff report. We look forward to them deliberating further on that staff report at a future meeting, most likely November 8th. Based on that, we'll move stuff to the commission to deliberate. Again, back to the committee, commission meeting again for another staff report. Commission deliberation, plenty of deliberation. Yes, that is in January and February, where you will be seeing, more final language, and it'll be a narrowing. So copy paste similar structures for the 4 subject areas. And then final meetings you'll see at the end, March 7th, March 21st, for there's room there, obviously, for more meetings, and even some of these deliberations, let's say I'm on the page with Better Government, for Hemplo, February 4th, the commission deliberates in full and has made their decisions, and there's no need for February 12th. That's great also. Or they say, on the other example, on February 12th, we need one more meeting. We'll work to find that, we'll work that, make that happen as well. So so there's still room to add and subtract just based on, where we're at and everything. It is still, very flexible and open to input. Final meetings there. And then again, just basically the last 2 pages are just kind of laying it out in a different format, just so you can kind of visualize the dates and everything. So Max, did I miss anything? He's shaking his head no. Okay, so want to have a discussion, want to have this kind of, we've been talking about temperature checks, gut checks, how this deliberation on this, and make sure everyone kind of is giving us the feedback so we can get to a place where we're moving forward. Again, this could iterate again, and we'll bring it back to everyone, and dates are flexible. I think that's all I need to say before questions.
Commissioner Field and then Commissioner Fuentes.
Okay, thank you. I'm excited to have a more robust calendar. And there's, just a lot of things that have to happen in these very, very few months. I have a question. What is sent to the council by the first week of April at the latest, is that expected to be ballot ready language? Or in other words, what level of language do we send them, and what do they then do? In other words, I know they can accept or
That
reject.
last part I have no power over.
Well, I mean, I know they can throw it all out if they want, hopefully not. But I guess my concern is I'm not quite clear on who and when the actual language gets drafted, as opposed to just, staff reports. I mean, it feels like this has to be lawyer talk, right?
Sure, yes. So staff reports is definitely low on the lawyer talk. And that to be honestly accessible not only to the commissioners, and to help, and I think it just helps you in your process. I hope it helps you all in the process, it being less lawyerly talk and more just kind of subject based and outlining and basically, showing what community groups and partners and public comment has all kind of informed those staff reports. And then research on top of that, where we're bringing in other examples from other cities, et cetera. So that's what, and then as this commission, because if we were to start with that wide framed and then provide you all the charter language, that we wouldn't be able to handle that, first off. And again, that was also advice that we got from the 99 people. Don't do that. As we narrow the list and the committees make decisions and the commission makes decisions on what they actually, I'll make it an example of council size. It's the easiest one, and say, let's say this commission says, staff, we approve a charter amendment that adjusts the council size by X plus X. Okay, great, thanks. Then we go and do that. Or, because he's here, we also approve eliminating the city attorney's office. Okay, great. We'll go now and do all that research on what those adjustments would look like, and options, because there are options, to what that language would look like in the charter. It would say, for example, on city attorney, because I have it open right now, it would say delete chapter or section 270 of the charter. Fantastic. That's what we present to you, and other changes that it would have to, for example. Make sense? To answer your question, I might have also gone further, or not a far.
I think what I want to know is, at some point, either during our process towards the end, as you say, when the commission is finally ready to make some decisions about how to handle X, Y, Z, and 500 other things, who's going to do the lawyer stuff?
So The city attorney will do lawyer stuff for us, except on any potential charter language relating to the city attorney, because then we will have conflict counsel
And
do
then-
that specific section.
Will they outsource then?
No, there's already,
We have
There's
an internal process also that the city already uses.
the city, the
Yeah.
city already has.
Yeah. So, but we'll
conflict
be working with, and everyone, so like, for example,
But here's the important part for everyone, for the commission and the public to know is in our final report, there will of course be like a narrative section, but there will be the specific legal charter language changes that we will all vote on
Oh.
before it gets there. And then to your the last part of your question, Commissioner Field, is the council will decide what to do with it at that point.
Yeah. Thank you. That's super helpful.
Mhm. I had Commissioner Fuentes Sanchez and then Thomas. Commissioner Fuentes.
I'm good. My question was answered.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanchez.
Similar, thank you to Commissioner Field. However, I did want to ask, is there a scenario that once it goes to the council, that it comes back to this body?
Ooh, so this body, probably not, because this body has an expiration date.
60
So it's 60 days after those are transmitted. So it's up to the council, one, if they wanted to extend it, or two, if they wanted to, it's a maybe.
Okay,
I think that's
that's fair. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
I also want to thank you for your thoughtful,
unless council, it's no unless.
intentional work on this calendar.
Thank-
It gives me a little bit of PTSD, but thank you.
I'm so sorry.
Commissioner Thomas.
So if I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
If we say that we want certain reforms.
Yeah.
Then that is when you go to work.
I
to
mean,
research.
we've been working since. We've been already working, but yes.
But I'm
Yeah,
I just want to
absolutely,
be
yeah.
clear, because I think when we talk about the process, and I think even in terms of the community being a little frustrated with feeling that the process is lagging, is, there are some things that I think we've already discussed.
Yeah.
I think the research, if it's going to be researched, if we say, for example, I like ranked choice voting, this is just an example.
For example.
Then if we say that that's one of the reforms that we'd like to see, then you would come back, you would go to work doing the research on what that would look like. Am I following me? And hopefully, because the only way that would be appropriate for me is that it included what impact it would have on Black people specifically and marginalized people generally. And so, I think that needs to be a part of the analysis.
Yep.
And I say that because ranked choice voting in Northern California did not work. There was an African-American man who ran and won because of the algorithm. He did not get seated. They seated a white guy. He then, when they figured out what had happened, he had to actually file a lawsuit to be seated in the position that he had already won. And I think those kinds of scenarios need to be considered.
Yeah.
We've not heard anything, and so that's what, if I'm hearing you correctly, that those would be the kinds, that would be the kind of research that you would be bringing
absolutely.
and that you would bring back. And so if after you have done your research, like say, for example, you find out that ranked choice voting is going to hurt African Americans in this city, then our agreeing to it doesn't mean that we can.
No, yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. I know where you're going with this. So we come back with language, or we come back with research and language, and you're just like, oh boy, no. Or again, back to the council size X, and you're just like, you came back with X and X is not right. Let's look at X plus 1. Let's look at X plus 2. Yeah, nothing. So in this process, the final decisions don't happen until March. And I do see potential and likelihood, and I'm mentally and physically prepared for this, committees to make decisions that can and will be adjusted by the full commission, and commission to make decisions that can and will be adjusted later by the commission as more research, and also, giving time for the community to react and to adjust. And let's say, this commission, again, X on city council members, and the committee, like we have 100 people show up, like, are you people insane? What are you doing? And commissioners might want to take that into account and be like, okay, let's have a discussion about this. So again, people could like say we're going too slow, but then if we were going faster, we'd hear we're going too fast at the same time. We're trying to find the happy medium and give this commission the opportunity to also learn in the process and room to breathe in the process and make the decisions in a very well, hopefully well educated on the subject matter. So, and especially when you have those flags, when you have those questions, and what we've done at the committees so far is committees have said, on these subjects, we want report backs, we want more information, we want examples. What we haven't gotten to really, all of the committees yet, but I imagine all the committees will be doing that. They want report backs, want examples, want more information, and that's our job.
I have Commissioner Yap and then Commissioner Field.
Thank you. I have a question about the way it seems sort of interim checks as the committees do their work would work with the commission. And I want to make sure that I'm at least following this correctly. Just take planning and infrastructure, for example. So there'll be the staff report 2, and that's presented to the committee, which is available publicly then in the materials.
Yep.
The commission would then hear on a more interim basis what the committee has been deliberating about on the December 4th session of the commission. Is that right?
Commissioner Yap, there may be for that specific committee, they may have options for recommendations that they would like the commission to adopt, because they would have already had at that point 2 committee meetings. And so that's so it's not just a gut check for those commission meetings. There may be items for us to vote on to instruct staff to start working on charter language.
I see. So will there be opportunities to have some sort of interim feedback with the whole commission, to the extent that we would hear some of what the committee is thinking about doing before there are actual recommendations to vote on? It was more of a process. Like, is that how does the commission get engaged on the committee work before the committees start to settle and onto actual motion work?
So yeah, Max Podemsky, Deputy Director. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to walk through the staff report because we've sort of gone through it with Planning and Infrastructure Committee, and I don't think there's any Planning and Infrastructure members here, but so staff report 2, basically we took all of the recommendations from presentations, from letters on the council file, and then from council motions, and we created a menu of reforms for each topic. So for example, restructuring infrastructure departments, there's like 4 options there, right? And we have an analysis of each of those. We have basically pros and cons. We also have like a no option. We do talk about charter language and give examples of like what the charter change could be and what the text is now. If it's like changing the charter, in some cases it'd be like adding a brand new section of the charter. So that's staff report 2. Staff report 3 the committee will basically refine those recommendations, right? So they'll eliminate some, they'll select some, they'll change them. And that staff report 3 goes to the full commission. And then staff report 4 is packaging all of those staff reports for all the different committees into one. That would be charter language that would go to the council. So that would be like the document that's going to be transmitted. So in terms of your question, planning infrastructure, October 22nd, we introduced staff report 2. They're going to have a deliberative meeting on November 18th. And, the goal for that is to kind of go through it and eliminate some, right, that we don't want to deal with because there's a lot of them there and we can't deal with all of them. So some of them, might just be non-starters. But then that December 4th, that's kind of the check-in with the full commission. So encourage the whole commission should be reading all of these staff reports and listening to the meetings and be familiar with the conversation, because at that full commission meeting, that's kind of like a time to weigh in, right? So you're like, it's important for me to have option B3 in here. Because basically, you're gonna have staff report 3.
Let me just pause real quick, Max. So Commissioner Yap, and using this example, and the construct is the same for all the other committees, the committee members will present on what they have been working on and what recommendations they're putting forward to the commission. At that meeting, that's when commissioners would say, whether it's individually and where commissioners will say, well, I think you should have went with this option because of X, Y, and Z reason. Can you tell us why you went with this option? And for commissioners to say, okay, I still disagree, or okay, it makes sense now. And then they go back into the committee knowing where the full commission is at so that they can take that feedback and implement it into their refinement. So those first commission deliberations after the staff 2 report is going to be that opportunity for each of the committees for us to weigh in as a full commission.
Okay, so that's Commissioner Yap here again. That sounds like that December 4th, just to use the dates to keep them clear. October 22nd is the staff report 2 on the planning and infrastructure. They'll deliberate again on the 18th of November, but then the whole commission will hear from the committee on December 4th, but it would be, I don't want to call it a check-in exactly, but it's something that will hear the direction that the planning and infrastructure committee rather is going.
Correct. And there will be a strong possibility of formal votes, potentially instructing the committees to do certain things.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Field.
Okay, thank you. And I want to acknowledge the cry for votes, the cry for action. I'm hoping we're getting closer. I have a question, and let me just say, I think we all realize that when we send whatever we send to the council on time, I'm sure we all agree with that goal, they're going to have all their personal political perspectives that they bring to the document. And I'm pretty sure that at some point, somebody, I don't think it's us, but I'm asking, or the council, someone's going to commission a poll so that there's a sense of what the public, the voters, will or won't go for. I know in the past that's a typical practice before they put charter reform on the ballot. And or, bonds, whatever, all that kind of voter approval type of thing. So is any of that polling part of our work, or does that come in once we send things and the council begins to determine what they are willing and feel is appropriate to put on the ballot?
Well, I guess stepping back for a minute. So we understand the calls for urgency, but one of the reasons why we're spacing stuff out is, for example, that report to Planning and Infrastructure Committee was 56 pages long. All of those proposals have implications for things. So we're trying to space these out so the community and, you know, the people within the city can sort of like socialize those recommendations and become aware of them, and different groups will have the ability to mobilize around them. But yes, we are working for city, you know, not sure if you want to elaborate, Justin, but, you know, City Fabric's doing a survey on some of these issues. And yeah, we are looking at.
But to that point, it's not within the plan of the commission to do any formal polling, and
Well, we could.
we could
We
at this
could
point.
partner with someone. There are academic organizations, there are groups that are already doing polling. There are a lot of options, and we are allowed to use city funding for polling prior to a ballot measure actually being solidified. So for example, you know, before council actually votes on, let's say, council number again, once they make that vote to send that to the voters, we can't use city dollars for polling on something. You can beforehand.
Well, that's very helpful. I do want to say, with due respect to outreach and town halls and surveys, I don't believe that we are reaching the electorate, and I don't think we're doing anything that is representative of who ends up voting in November of 2026. And that's the kind of polling I'm talking about. It's like, you know, those special kind of samples where it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I'm
and
a firm believer in polling. Absolutely. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah. And I guess I'm hearing that theoretically, we could have some of our budget for that, but timeline wise, maybe it would be tricky.
Timeline wise, still plausible.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Having done this in the city of Long Beach, yes.
Commissioner Andrades and then Commissioner Thomas.
I just want to co-sign what Commissioner Field said. I love our advocates that come, but research shows that the people who even sign the surveys that are out in the field will not be representative of the electorate at all. So I think it's probably good to have empirical polling as well as focus groups, because there are some controversial issues that all committees are talking about, and those are two very disparate.
I think I've talked about polling from day one.
Yes, you have, yes. So I'm just, I'm co-signing the support for
Thank you so
adding polling to your mission here, Justin.
Commissioner Thomas.
And so what is our, because I keep hearing, well, you know, we're going to make these recommendations and then city council is going to decide whether or not they're going to adopt them. I don't work like that. If I'm working on recommendations and it's representative of the people, city council is going to adopt them. But that takes strategy, that takes mobilization. And if our work is not connected to community, we can kiss that goodbye. We were told that clergy play a major role. It played a major role in when this was done before, in terms of getting the word out. And I think we need to talk about strategy. Don't want to beat a dead horse, but I know a lot of clergy in this town. And I'll just leave that alone. I'll leave it alone. But I know a lot of clergy in this town. And if we're going to work with clergy, you met one of them. If you're going to work with clergy, if they're going to be the marketers of what we're doing, and they very easily could be. They have a captive audience every Sunday, every Saturday, every Friday. And these people are registered to vote. And so I think instead of us having the attitude of, we're going to do this work, we're going to hear from the people, and then city council is going to do what they always do. I think we need to talk
some, there needs to be something on here that talks about strategy. Strategy to push it forward, but strategy if they don't.
Absolutely. Happy to talk strategy, of course, with you anytime. This is mainly just a schedule and timeline. I think there's plenty of room. Again, the methodical process that both Max and I have outlined gives breathing room for us to socialize these topic areas and make sure, again, the charge for vote, yes, there will be votes, but like then if we vote too soon, people were like, why are you voting too soon? We haven't heard about it. So, we're not here to make everyone happy. I know that. We're here to do the work that was charged to us with an April deadline and making sure that I want to make sure, that's why we're bringing this to you, that you all feel comfortable, not rushed. If you feel like it could go faster, happy to hear that. But if you feel like it's being, want to get that feedback from you and also get, make sure that you all feel good for us to implement this because, it's the saying, we either hang together or we will surely hang separately. I don't want to hang separately. I want to work with all of you and make sure that there's buy-in and agreement on this moving forward. So, and again, iterations of this down the line. I want to make sure, but everyone here tonight, of course, based on everyone's availability, is good with this process. For strategy, more strategy to come that's separate from this, I think, on outreach. Absolutely, more can always be done and more will always be done. Lots of opportunities, and especially once this commission really starts, again, back to this example of council size. Once that really becomes a thing that's, in the newspaper, commission moving forward on adding X amount of council, I'm sure a lot more people will be interested in what's happening here and we'll get more opportunities. The people are like, oh, we said we were busy earlier, but we want to talk now. That's just the way the world works sometimes. So anyways, hope that answers your question.
I have Commissioner Mack, Field, and Fuentes. Commissioner Mack.
I just had a question. If we can add in when we can expect the materials for the full commission meeting deliberations to be public, and
Sure.
also for the commissioners. And I think just because these are going to be items that we are going to potentially be voting on, we need enough time to look at it.
Sure,
both us
absolutely. Yeah,
and the public.
that's a really good
Yeah, and-
question. And
yeah.
if we're, again, bringing this to everyone, if we're all good with this, what we'll lay out overlay on this internally is like a calendar of, not only, several things. One, agenda timeline, making sure we have agendas for all these coming out in proper timeline, around 5 days is our goal, as always. That's one. Then going in when, okay, we have staff report 3 on January 10th. Let's work backwards. When are we gonna, when do we want it to the commissioners X amount of days in advance? And we just did our first one and we learned a lot and we got it to the commissioners 48 hours in advance. We would definitely love to improve on that. So we're going to improve on that on the next time. So we work backwards. When do we want to get it to city attorneys? How much time do we want to give them city attorneys? So how much time? So we're going to overlay that and keep on improving on that. Can't promise that we'll stick that landing exactly. If I say, 4 days in advance now, sometimes it might be 3 just based on turnaround because all of these reports are sourced internally to departments, city attorney, et cetera, and partners, and making sure that we want to make sure we get you the best product we can. Of course, even when we put it out, we will make some adjustments. Some of you will say again, like happened with our first one, like, Acme said, we actually agree on this change, but not on that change. Okay, great. Thank you for that note. We'll update the report.
Thank you.
Commissioner Field.
Yeah, I want to really echo Commissioner Thomas's important comments about the commission's role in building community support. And I'm wondering if, I'm not going to suggest another committee on that, but maybe, I know, people don't want more committees, but I'm thinking that at the full commission meetings, and I'm not exactly sure starting when, because we might want to be at the point where we are firming up things a little, but I think it should be an agenda item. When we have full commission and we're finally getting close to, again, hopefully we're going to have increased public input and more participation, but in terms of building support for what we send the council to help the council be responsive, I think it could be an added item whenever we have a discussion on, better government. Well, what's our strategy? Who do we need to help us?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Oh,
that it
that's really-
become
that's a
part of
really
our
interesting thought.
commission agendas, not just, as Commissioner Thomas said, not just doing all this work and leaving it, throwing it out in the air to the council, but preparing the strategy of outreach and make that an agenda item for the full commission where we can all, give input such as this precise one about clergy and the audiences they can reach.
I love that idea. so
Well,
much.
thank you, Mr.
Thank you
Thomas.
both. I think you both tag team on that perfectly. That's a great idea. Happy to work with you both on what that would look like on the agenda in the future as we, do these deliberations and then have that separate item to be like, okay, we just, again, back to the council size, we just approved our city attorney. We just approved deleting the city attorney from the charter. What do we do about that also?
Mhm.
Like, do we need to talk to certain folks? Do we need to outreach to the legal community? Do we need to make sure that the council is getting what they want out of this, et cetera? Yeah.
I have Commissioner Fuentes and then Commissioner Thomas.
I meant to bring this up earlier, but I forgot. In terms of the online survey, would you be able to provide actual respondent numbers at our next meeting, as well as the deadline for like when the survey would close or if it's ongoing? when we can
Sure.
Kind of
yeah.
expect results. from
Yeah,
them?
at some point, we'll be able to also share like the results of the survey, live, be like, okay, we have weeks to go. This is how many people have responded to the survey. And here's a snapshot of the results. Still more time, please, to participate in the survey. Please share this with friends, to social media, and we'll come back. Again, it's definitely an outreach tool. And it's also an ability to get people, just get us that information, like, how people feel about this certain subject matters. Yeah.
And then just like carrying on from that same point, I know the stated goal here is 5K respondents, but if there are any
Oh,
other
sorry,
goals.
Are we back on my? We're back on my
Yeah,
staff
I brought
report?
it up because someone else brought it up.
Okay,
No,
sorry.
but for this, in terms of like the goals beyond just numbers of engagement, if there are any other goals there, what they would be.
I mean, definitely 5K is just the plain simple number. Definitely want to make sure that, we're seeing, it's translated into several languages. Definitely want to make sure that we're seeing it get used in several different languages, be able to report that back. Again, I know some of our applicants on the mini grants are from communities where English is not the first language. So there's an opportunity to have them help us, socialize it in their communities and make sure just that, that's the goal, is that it's engaging communities that haven't been engaged yet in a simple, quick, less than 5-minute format.
Commissioner Thomas.
So with regards to the survey,
I'm sorry,
did we, I guess, when I'm thinking of surveys and a survey that is going out in our name, right?
Yeah.
How do we know that the questions have not been written in such a way, leading questions? You're an attorney, you understand.
I mean, there's a push-pull. Absolutely, that is a term. Push pull. For example, if I was to push pull on the city attorney, do you want, I'm just going to go really hard on this. Do you want a city hall insider attorney who makes $500,000 a year to represent you? That's a push pull. on city attorney, for example. No, we're not doing that. We worked, the City Fabric and the survey team worked on, language that was just, very, very, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the survey yourself.
I have not.
Okay, please do. And if you have feedback, happy to take feedback, but it's very just, again, I think really the first goal is just to get people engaged, get people an opportunity to feel like, oh, I took that survey on the charter reform. I saw that they're doing, talking about city council size. I saw that they're talking about authorities of the mayor. It's not a push pull. It's very much just generic used to engage people.
And I guess, yes, we can talk about strategy, but it's important that when we talk about community wants to feel like they're really a part of the process.
Yeah.
And so
this is another tool to do that.
Yeah. And so we just need to be kind of mindful of that.
Yeah.
That like how many, and I'm going to look at.
Yeah, please.
But I was kind of thrown off the fact that there was a survey that's gone out. That's gone.
I've talked about it for months.
Ask. No, we talked about it, but we didn't see it before it went out.
Huh?
Yeah, I didn't.
Long time.
Well, I know you guys talked about it.
Not arguing with the crowd.
No. It was talked about.
Thank you, sir.
But what I'm saying is, if something is going out in our name and the community's name, it's like this. Are we more inclined to get a better response when the community has contributed to the questions to be asked? Or are we more inclined to get a better response when we have consultants who are developing questions based upon our faith that they know that they're in tune with the community? And, I'm just saying, I was surprised at the speed at which the survey went out. Some of these people need to be professors if they can come up with a survey that quickly, but it continues to be more. What gets reported on after the fact raises more questions, is what I'm saying, than if it is beforehand. And I'm not saying that the survey wasn't talked about. It was, but my assumption with the survey was that we would be determining what questions, based, because we're hearing, and not to say that that City Fabric isn't hearing the information, that they're not watching the videos.
I moved forward with it. Wanted it to be out there in the field and being an outreach tool, and an opportunity to engage the community. And yeah.
So it's just an outreach tool. And so
no, it's not just an outreach tool. It is an outreach tool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because this is the thing.
It is also to gauge, and there are decisions that's a decision I made. Yeah, as executive director.
And so
I stand by that.
And that's why it is important. And I think that I thought that this would be that conversation, but I don't think this is. It's important that we are forward facing and saying to the community, this is the rubric that we intend to use to determine what recommendations we will send to City Council. And I think that when we develop that rubric, it needs to be done in public, and that the community needs to be able to weigh in on it before we just do it. So then when we begin to decide these things, we don't give the impression that, oh, that's somebody's person or that's somebody's person. It is more of an objective process because we've done it on the front end.
I hear
and
you.
A lot of these things that you all are, a lot of the things that we need, it doesn't take long to do this stuff.
I hear you. I mean, like I said, I've mentioned the survey definitely from the beginning of the summer, probably, and I just went forth. No one brought up any like, oh, we'd love to talk about the survey. So I just kept on going with it.
I know because you're efficient and effective, but now I'm gonna let that go.
I love you
But-
for saying that. Thank you.
Because you're efficient and effective, and it's
Yeah, I
it's-
mean,
it's
not everything's.
it's not
yeah.
as efficient and effective as I think you think it is. You know,
There's pros and cons. I see your side. I definitely, and I hear you see my side as well.
Yes, I do.
And this decision is done, and we're
the last
we're
thing
moving
is,
forward.
and I asked this before, if we have, I mean, AI does a good job.
Who?
AI
AI,
does a
oh,
good job
Lord in heaven.
of summarizing documents.
Mhm.
And so if there is a 50-page report, if there's a 50-page report, AI could probably whittle that down to 5 pages.
I'm gonna have to let Max go and just let AI do my reports now.
No, I didn't
I'm
say
kidding,
let
I'm
AI.
kidding, I'm teasing.
No,
I'm teasing.
what
I
I'm
hear you.
saying is
No, I hear you.
a summary.
That's
Because I don't
great
see
recommendation.
a community person who is not a paid
I hear you.
lobbyist reading a 50-page
50-page
report.
report. Yeah, I hear you.
And so at the end of the day,
We again, I think I've mentioned to the commission, we have Gemini as a tool across.
What is that?
Gemini is Google's AI tool, and
the city ain't got money to
the
purchase.
city of LA already has Gemini as since it's it's a Gmail, it's a Google product city. So all of our, we don't work on Microsoft Word, we work on Google Docs. So that could be something where when we release our staff reports, we also maybe with AI, although I can already hear the criticism about it. We'll proof it. Somebody, I've sat in some of the AI trainings that they've done with Gemini, and they said, just consider Gemini like a Harvard trained intern. They went to Harvard. Yes, they're great, but they're still an intern. You still need to proof their stuff before you turn it over.
I'm not arguing that at all.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say that's a great
AI isn't perfect, but AI isn't perfect.
Yeah, but that's a great suggestion to also have like a summary that maybe is done by AI as an addendum to our staff report.
Because then it won't be lawyer talk.
So far, they're not too lawyerly.
Yeah, I don't know how not to be lawyer.
Fair. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Mack.
Yeah, I think in terms of the commission meeting schedule, I just had a quick question on when we'll know if there's been changes to the committee assignments. I think I just want to close the loop, whether we are changing or not, to just finish that discussion that we started a couple weeks ago.
There is going to be one addition to one, there's going to be an addition of one committee member to one committee. And I just need to confirm with that person before the announcement is made publicly.
Thank you. And I'll say what I said to a commissioner earlier today. I still do not have an update on our 13th member, although I've asked.
On what?
On our 13th member, sorry, I should have said that better. I still do not have an update on our 13th member, although I have asked the question to the office.
Okay.
Anti-police for them.
Do we need a motion to receive and file before?
Please.
Okay, well, let's get to our last comment from Commissioner Field.
Really quick,
Two anti-police.
I just took the survey. I just went to our website and there it was.
Oh,
And no, but you asked good questions about maybe who wrote it, what biases are built in. I would recommend the whole commission take the survey.
thank
There's
you.
nothing wrong with
Please,
that.
please help my numbers.
And then you'll see which questions are being asked. I already can see some things that, might not bring out exactly what I'd like to learn from the public, but I'm just suggesting it's pretty quick. Took me like 3 minutes.
And that's part of the goal, is make it quick. I hate a long survey.
And I will say it requires a fair amount of background knowledge. A lot of it is going to be meaningless to our wonderful community.
Yeah,
because
and some of those surveys will be, at the end of presentations that we'll be doing with community groups, neighborhood councils, et cetera. We'll be like, great, now that you've heard all this information, we'd love you to take the survey.
Can I have a motion to receive and file, please?
Seconded.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Field, second by Commissioner Andrades. Is there any objection? All right, seeing none, the report is received and filed. We now move on to our last item on the agenda, discussion and possible approval of a support letter for Rewrite LA on their public assembly process. Executive Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our last item here. This is something we worked out with Rewrite LA. They are happy with this product as well. And I think reflects what this commission told us in their initial vote of support a few weeks ago. So they're happy with it. Hopefully you're happy with it. Again, and of course, we worked with the city attorney on this as well, to cross our T's and dot our I's. So here you have it. Happy to read it into the record if you'll allow me, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Maybe after we vote on it?
I don't have to. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, let's move on. So since I would like to move a motion to approve, and then is there a second?
Second. Oh, second.
All right, discussion on the motion. Commissioner Field.
Yes, I'd like to amend it. I expressed my concern last time about our very hardworking staff. I'd like to propose, I'm looking at the second paragraph, when it says the commission looks forward to assisting with venue securing and offering staffing support when schedule permits. I'd like to delete the words "and offering staffing support." I think it's okay if our staff can help secure venues since they're learning how to do that all over the city. But offering our rather limited number of staffers who are already going to be presumably attending a multitude of meetings to show up and help, I'm not comfortable. I'd like it to take out those 4 words "and offering staffing support."
I appreciate your concern. I'm totally fine if the commission wants to do that. I am 100% comfortable with offering the staff report. I think it's good work that these folks are doing, and I definitely am able to pull back and say, "Whoa, you're asking for too much." I've certainly, again, in this negotiation with them, I said, at times like, "Oh, you want X? I could give you a little less than X already." So I think we're in a good place with them. I appreciate that very much, but I think it's good enough work, and they're good with this. City attorney was good with this language. And as executive director in charge of the staff, I'm good with language as well. I appreciate it.
Is there a second to the amendment?
Oh.
Is there a second?
Oh, no. I thought it was still discussion.
Seeing no second to the amendment is not, we will not proceed. We are on discussion of the main motion, which is to approve the resolution as written. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I just want to say that this is not just a letter. This is actually a partnership. And that, and to your point, Commissioner Fields, in order for us to be clear about what is happening, staff has to be involved in some way. And so in order for them to be able to do their work so that it benefits us, they need a clear letter stating that we are behind the work that they're doing. Other than that, they look as if they're doing something just on their own. And that is not at all what is they're doing. They're helping us, and hopefully they will be reaching people that we haven't been able to reach, and doing it in creative ways that aren't 56-page reports. So anyway, or surveys that takes 3 minutes to fill out. Come on now. Me and Diego know what that is. So anyway, that's all. I just wanted to say that.
Fair enough.
Are there any other commissioners who wish to discuss the motion to approve? All right, seeing none, let's take a vote for the record, everyone. All right, Commissioner Andrades.
Yes.
Commissioner Field.
Abstain.
Commissioner Fuentes.
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis is absent. Commissioner Mack.
Yes.
Commissioner Mesa, yes. Commissioner Murray is absent. Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Schlatter is absent. Commissioner Stein is absent. Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Yap.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you, commissioners. All right,
Can we move to adjourn?
that brings us to the conclusion of our agenda. Mr. Executive Director, so on the calendar, everyone, the executive director and staff will reach out to the committee chairs and the committee members to confirm that these dates work. If they don't, they will adjust accordingly and we will update the committee calendar. We'll send out an email to make sure everyone knows that. Please be on the lookout for an email from Justin on the events that we talked about, that he talked about in his report. Commissioner Thomas, we absolutely are going to give first preference to the commissioners who have not participated. We just wanted to see if there were dates where you're like, that works for me, or I can't do it. But we'll do the details via email, but the first preferences will go to commissioners who have not participated yet. We had a number of follow-up items that the executive director will incorporate into his report. Are there any closing remarks? Commissioner Thomas?
My only closing remark is, as I look at this, we seem to be married to Wednesdays. Is there a reason? Because Mondays and Wednesdays are.
I hear you. Yeah, definitely. So, especially on your committee, we're cognizant of that as well. So we'll make adjustments and everything going forward. I am just super divorced from Mondays and Fridays.
Well, Fridays work for me. Mondays and Wednesdays.
Just Fridays are going to be hard getting people.
Yes,
you
it
know,
is.
yeah.
But I mean,
I hear you.
But
We might do it Friday.
a
I hear you.
Tuesday. I mean, a few more because you know.
Yeah. I hear.
It's difficult.
And when
my students were
also keep me as posted when your semester ends.
My semester ends December.
You can get back to me on that.
I think December 15th, something like that. I don't know.
Perfect. Thank you.
I wish it would end.
May I have a motion to adjourn? Second, is there any objection? Seeing none, so ordered. Have a good evening, everyone.